great pleasure 2 years after we got shut down to be hosting activities again. We've been running the Institute since early July, and I think it's really thanks to all of everyone's efforts at following our protocols and vaccinations. We were a little bit ahead of the campus, but I really appreciate everybody's patience as we manage through this and hopefully get to the other side of it. For how many of you is this morning your first time in Cone Hall? Raise your hand high. Great, so it's about half. It's kind of an amazing phenomenon. It's always half. I asked that because I want to tell you a little bit about how you got here. We do these programs, long programs, in a planning process that really starts 2 years in advance. And that is from ideas from all of you in the community of what would be a good long event for us. Our typical programs are 8 to 12 weeks. This conference, this 4-day conference, is part of a long program. Those programs come from proposals from you to us, and we work with our advisory board to develop them into the events, and it's a 2-year process, as the coordinators know all too well. It feels like a long time, but it's wonderful that we actually are able to get back together and do it. So if you have ideas, I encourage you to speak with myself, Mark Bowick. Where's Mark here? Yeah, Mark's here. He's the deputy director, can describe it. Omer Blaze knows well the process, so Omer, raise your hand. You know the process well. Of course, the coordinators got through the process, so they understand it. And then former members of our advisory board. I see Sterl Finney just walked in. He's a member of the advisory board from days past. But we definitely want ideas. We're right now wrapping up the planning for 23-24. And so in the fall, we'll be looking for ideas for the following year. So we plan about 2 years in advance. And it really is from ideas from the community, so that's really important. I want to thank the coordinators right now for all of their work. Of course, Caitlin has been leading the charge for the conference, so thank you, Caitlin. Oh, she's waving her hand. Okay, yeah. Of course, Daniel as well, and Yan Fei, and where's Zoltan? Oh, Zoltan's right here, so thank you all. We have our code of conduct posted around here, but also it's sort of all embedded in your letters, so hopefully we'll just have a wonderful time. If anybody starts to behave uncomfortably or feel uncomfortable, please come to us or the coordinators as your first line of response. But I don't foresee any such issues. I really want to thank KITP staff. We wouldn't have gotten through this and where we're at today without the remarkable KITP staff. So Craig is here, who's IT, and Claudia, who's our conference coordinator. So let's thank them right now. If you have any questions you need answered about what's happening in the next 4 days, Claudia will answer all of them. In particular, if you're bringing someone she doesn't know about to dinner, please talk to her so she can get the head count and collect the extra fee for dinner. We will be having a dinner every night. We've sort of changed that up. We used to only do 2, but we decided rather than send you out into the wilderness of Galita, we'd take care of you right here. So all of our breaks and lunches and the dinners for the next 4 days are in the courtyard, which is exactly in the middle of the building. And so you'll become familiar with that space throughout the day. Our doors are still locked, which means that should you decide to go outside and take a walk, which is, of course, a hard thing to avoid here, and you get locked out, the best door to come to is this door. Or the caterers often just leave that back door open at the courtyard entrance. So it's an easy way to get back in should you find yourself locked out without a key, which many of you don't have since you're just here for this event. Please do wear your name tags for the conference, for the breaks. There is another program here that's studying neutrinos, and they, of course, will think all of that food is for them. And so our staff will be policing entrance to the courtyard so that you get the food you've paid for. I'm a little rusty at this. I used to just have this in my head and I could just go through all these things. But I think those are the major items I want to do. We're also, of course, running in this hybrid mode. Our intent is to probably do this forever so that those that are unable to travel will be able to participate remotely. And so Daniel will be running that on this side. But it also means you please, when it comes to the questions for parts of the talk, please use the microphones so that it both gets recorded and those online can hear it. All of our talks at KITP are recorded and are online typically the same day. That's been the case for a long, long time. There's about 25,000 talks online, so should you ever get bored late at night, I highly encourage that as a solution. They're watched, roughly speaking, the equivalent watching of that is about 50 people 24 hours a day is the usage of our online archive. So it does get a lot of use. It's used a lot in education. So and I think a lot of the talks from conferences are particularly valuable. So do keep that in mind, which is what you do here is forever. What happens here doesn't stay here. So the first session chair, who is the first session chair? Caitlin. Okay, so as you've seen in the schedule, we really feel strongly about the need for time for discussion. And so Caitlin will be enforcing that. The first two talks are, I believe, 30-minute talks with 15 minutes for discussion. And that discussion time is very important. It really gives you a chance to ask a question and have time to even formulate a question. And so Caitlin will set a great example of how that works so that it plays out for the rest of the conference. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Caitlin.
All right. So again, a big thanks to Lars and all the staff here at KITP. I have actually organized a conference before, like where you have to do things, and that's not what this is like. It's remarkable and amazing to be in a place like this with so many professional people basically taking care of all the hard work. And then the rest of the hard work is you and all of our online participants who's going to be giving the talks. So again, welcome, and I want to give an extra big thank you to Roman Rafikoff for kicking off the conference virtually. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here with us, but he's going to give us a great opener describing circumbinary disks on all scales. And again, as Lars said, please, if you have questions, I will come around with a microphone after the talk. And for the online participants, we have an in-person moderator here. Feel free to raise your Zoom hand or type a question into the chat, and we will cycle through your questions as well. All right. Thank you, Roman. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay.